Let me come to the chapter number 1 of your OCM syllabus, and that is Introduction to Trade and Commerce. जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, अगर कमर्शियल एक्टिविटीज की बात की जाए, अगर ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज की बात की जाए, तो द ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज आर प्राइमरीली डिवाइडेड इनटू टू. वन, that is the economic activities, and second are the non-economic activities. Ab what is covered under the economic activities? They basically involve the production of goods, services, rendering of such services. They provide it in the exchange for money or money's worth. There can be a situation of barter exchange as well. So, in exchange of money or money's worth, the economic activities will take place, and the it facilitates the earning for the livelihood of the individual. जो व्यक्ति आपको गुड सर्विसेज सप्लाई कर रहा है, उसके लाइवलीहुड के लिए वो इन सारी गुड सर्विस. अब जैसे मुझे पापी पेट का सवाल, भाई संडे का दिन है फिर भी आके लेक्चर ले रहा हूं, क्यों? तो जिंदा रहना है, जिंदा रहने के लिए खाना जरूरी है, खाने के लिए पैसा जरूरी है. And that's why I'm here, right? ओ भाई साहब, ऐसा खराब ना करो यार. The non-human activities which are performed only to satisfy the personal needs, your and mine personal requirements, that will get satisfied in the non-economic activities. I'm sorry. No monetary expectations are there because the livelihood is not to be earned there. And it involves the social, religious and the other cultural activities. मैंने कहीं जाके लंगर खिला दिया, that is a social activity or religious activity. In such case, it will be considered as non-economic. I'm not expecting the return in the form of money against that. But अगर मैं रेस्टोरेंट में जाके सर्विसेज दे रहा हूं तो I'll be expecting the return in the form of money or not. The business, अब इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी में बेसिकली 3 पार्ट्स. कौन से 3? बिजनेस, एम्प्लॉयमेंट, प्रोफेशन. We'll deal with these all one by one. What is the meaning of that and what are the features of that? That is what we are going to talk about. The very first, business, it is one of the economic activities. The various economic activities we are going to talk about. Out of that, the first one, business, carried to earn प्रॉफिट. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज. आप जो बिजनेस एक्टिविटीज कर रहे हो, आप जो एक्टिविटीज चला रहे हो, उसमें आपका प्राइमरी इंटेंट क्या है? टू मेक प्रॉफिट्स. द बिजनेस इज डन बाय द इंडिविजुअल्स और इट कैन ऑल्सो बी डन बाय द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस. देयर कैन बी अ प्रोप्राइटरशिप कंसर्न, देयर कैन बी अ पार्टनरशिप कंसर्न, देयर कैन बी अ जॉइंट स्टॉक. इसके बाद के चैप्टर में हम लोग ये सारी डिस्कशन करने वाले हैं. So there can be non-corporate as well as corporate entities taking care of that. It includes all activities done for production, for the purpose of processing and distribution of goods. आप raw material लेके उसमें से finished goods बना दो, finished goods market में बेचो. आप कोई particular agri produce करो, वो goods आप जाके market में बेच दो. That is nothing but your business activities. It involves risk. कौन से रिस्क? देयर कैन बी अ बिजनेस रिस्क, देयर कैन बी अ फाइनेंशियल रिस्क, देयर कैन बी अ जियोपॉलिटिकल रिस्क. अलग गवर्नमेंट चेंज हो गई, मेरा बिजनेस चलेगा या नहीं. मोदी जी हैं तो अदानी भी है, ऐसा लोगों को लगता है. और अगर मोदी जी नहीं होंगे तो अदानी अंबानी बंद हो जाएंगे, ऐसा भी लोगों को लगता है. So this kind of thing, the business is involving some kind of risks, and that is what is covered in this. The features of business. The very first, it is an economic activity because it is done primarily for the purpose of money or money's worth. It is involving always the two parties. I cannot do the business with myself. Me doing the studies for myself, it is not business, it is non-economic activity. But me doing the studies and then rendering it to you, you and me, there are two different parties involved into that or not? And that's why the business will always involve bare minimum 2 parties. There will always be the profit motive. कोई सी भी एक्टिविटी की आप बात कर लो, हर बिजनेस में कोई ना कोई प्रॉफिट मोटिव रहेगा. प्रोडक्शन एंड एक्सचेंज ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. आप जो बिजनेस एक्टिविटी कर रहे हो उसमें या तो आप कोई गुड्स प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो या तो आप सर्विसेज प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो, and you're supplying those goods produced or services produced, you're dealing into goods. Goods can be consumer goods, goods can be capital goods. Capital goods which are required for the further production. Consumer goods which are used by the end consumer or end user. It requires the continuity of dealings. If there is no continuity of dealings, it won't be considered as a business activity. If I am having a car, I sell that particular car, I'm not doing the business of dealing in cars. But the person from whom I'm buying a new car, that person is having day-to-day activity of dealing in cars or not. So there has to be a continuity in dealings. Uncertain returns. किसी business activity में आपको बहुत सारे profits हो जाते हैं और कोई business activity बायजूस हो जाती है. Right? So there are uncertain returns. The risk element is always there. I just gave the example of that. And it requires the consumer satisfaction. क्योंकि आपकी expectation ये है कि आपका customer आपके पास वापस आना चाहिए. और अगर आपको लगता है कि आपका customer आपके पास वापस आना चाहिए, तो उसके लिए obviously आपने services उसी तरह की देनी पड़ेगी.